Hello comrades, welcome to Commander Brito-Ruskie-Ski. Today we are reacting to America is not Europe, comrades, by Hug. Now comrades, he's got a really nice channel name. I like this shit, comrades, and well, let's begin the reaction.
I was born and grew up in Denmark.
So we have Bernie Sanders, comrades. So I'm guessing this explains kind of European benefits and American downsides and shit. This guy looks like an Ice Age character, no offense.
To many of your spending proposals, especially on the things you mentioned on early childhood. And
oh, Ted Cruz, comrades. Obviously, Ted Cruz, bullshit man.
These are countries that heavily tax everybody, not just the rich people. Middle classes, they have consumption taxes on everything of 20%. So while I'm very sympathetic to what you say, my sense is still that you would like to spend as a Scandinavian, but not tax as one. Is that correct?
Okay, so this brings up kind of the point of tax, comrades, where, you know, European countries tax more, and obviously that's why we have all the benefits and all of that shit, comrades. Now, personally, this is still kind of bullshit, comrades, because a lot of people in Britain, for example, I'll use Britain as an example because I live here. People in Britain, they live comfortably, comrades. At least a lot of the people I know, and even myself, comrades, I will say we all live comfortably while getting, you know, while still getting taxed for shit like the NHS and also other programs, comrades. So I don't really know if it's comparable. I think it would be much worse if we had to pay for shit, expensive healthcare and shit.
And you raised some very good points.
Comparing the US with Europe and countries in Europe would be naive, oversimplistic, and offend a bunch of people.
Okay, so that's true to an extent, but I think comparing, you know, America and Europe is just because they're Western, first world countries, comrades. You know, obviously you're gonna compare, obviously I'm not saying Europe's a country, but I meant countries. Obviously, you know, it's just like a, you know, thing. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but it is comparable. I think it's dumb to say you cannot compare it because there is clear similarities between America and Britain, America and France, than like India and Nigeria, for example.
Land masses are complex, but I'm going to go ahead and compare them anyways, because some of the comparisons
so I see all the countries in America split.
Remain way too superficial.
Read my lips.
I don't think I will.
It's not uncommon to obsess over the usual suspects.
Elon Musk, comrades. Elon Musk is fucking stupid, comrades. Jeff Bezos is bald. Mark Zuckerberg's a lizard. Bill Gates is alright.
The analysis is simple. The US has more billionaires and taxes them less.
Exactly, this is the thing. But, comrades, people like fucking Jeff Bezos, comrades, he could pay off so much fucking shit for like healthcare and shit, comrades, if they just taxed him. Same with Elon Musk, same with Warren Buffett, same with Bill Gates, same with Mark Zuckerberg. When you put all these people together, like shit, this stacks. I think those 5 people together have like $1 trillion fucking dollars, comrades. So like, come on now.
It taxes them more. Need a larger tax base to fund popular social programs and also less inequality. Just raise the taxes on the rich, like the Europeans do. Now, although the tax rates of rich people explains some part of the difference, it doesn't explain enough. Europeans can afford good social programs because a lot of Europeans pay a lot for them, mainly through indirect taxes. And Europeans are also more equal before taxes even factored in.
Oh shit, so yeah, Europeans do pay a lot more taxes.
Also reduce pre-tax inequality. Where Americans deal with a sales tax at their final point of sale, Europeans deal with a VAT, which is...
Yeah, VAT, comrades. We have VAT in the UK, okay? I was waiting for him to talk about that because I was wondering where he was going.
Taxes multiple steps across entire supply chains. This means that a lot
of things the two systems are kind of not comparable,
really. Public money can be redistributed towards social programs that will reduce before tax inequality.
It does also depend where you speak in Europe, because at the beginning he showed a full map of Europe. But I can tell you, comrades, shit like France, Britain, Norway, Sweden, comrades, they are not comparable to shitholes like Ukraine, Belarus, Moldova, comrades. So it also depends where you compare it.
The US has, so far, been unable to adopt the same. Why? Well, in part because taxing the wealthiest of society is easier to advertise and justify than taxing everybody a lot more.
That is true.
In Europe, most people don't really need to be convinced about paying for their welfare states because it works sufficiently for most of them.
Yeah, that's basically, that's
an intimate struggle with deciding whether pre-distribution will be a state, local, or federal solution. Part of the reason
It's because America is so divided, comrades. The fact that the 50 states all act so different from each other while supposed to be the same country. A lot of
is that
that
in
can
the
be
US,
so
the federal
stupid,
government
comrades,
gets
in
the
my
most media
opinion.
attention, while state and local governments can avoid scrutiny. This means that minimum wage hikes in the US are practically always seen as a responsibility for the federal government, which has to delicately balance different costs of living, like laborers living in New York City
Yeah.
and miners living in West Virginia.
Miners in
Europe,
West
though,
Virginia,
a country like
comrades.
France or Denmark can opt for different geographically
That's
sensitive
Denmark.
policy, while
That's
also being
kind of
held
a
more
shit
directly
animation
into
about
account
Denmark.
because the assignment of responsibility
Okay, comrades, let us begin again.
around in the literature, which suggests that wicked problem is wicked if it has
Comrades,
so many
wicked.
dimensions to it that you can't
Sound like
go
a boomer,
at
I'm
one
sorry.
angle to the problem and try to fix it. And I think school finance is like that. So school districts get money from their local communities in the form of property taxes.
Yeah.
They'll also get money from the state, and the state might give them money through multiple
Yeah, I
forms,
mean,
and then
it's
a
all obviously
portion of
gone.
a smaller portion.
I will say that obviously my views are different, mainly because of COVID-19. I think me and I think a lot of people can agree, I've become a lot more conscious about the world over the last 2 years than I was before. So obviously it's a bit weird to how, obviously you had shit like furlough in the UK, where they paid you 80% of your salary, even if you didn't work, because of COVID. So obviously, you know, payments are all a bit
10% comes
different
from the federal
from my
government.
side.
So
I
even
don't know
if
if that
you're
really
trying
applies to
solve
this.
a
I just kind of
problem
wanted to
at,
share
say,
that.
the state level, there are these other funding sources that come with their own restrictions, which ultimately affect how the money gets used in schools.
Mm-hmm.
in Connecticut, a U.S. state. The school in Bridgeport will be poorer by virtue of being surrounded by poor properties, while a school in Greenwich will be richer because it is surrounded by richer properties. This is because local taxes are largely funded by property values in the area. However, this concept fails to explain everything. Educational disparities also exist across Europe and within its countries.
That is true.
The U.S. is not unique for having a system that predisposes poor
I mean,
children
almost
to
every
lower
country has
resources.
educational problems.
Education systems are
Even places like Finland and shit, comrades, that get praised for having good education, it could still be better, comrades. Let's be honest, man.
complex. Finland is not the same as Sweden, and resources invested in education and the quality that follows does not seem like a linear relationship.
Where is Polska?
The U.S.'s unique situation
I'm looking for
is that its
Paul.
quality does not match the amount that the U.S. actually
I
spends
cannot
on it.
find it. Maybe
One
I'm
of the
blind.
problems with answering why resources
Maybe I'm
don't
blind.
match the quality you would expect in the U.S. is because the decentralized nature of school districts makes it pretty difficult to actually identify what spending works and what doesn't. Overall, there are some
So to me, it
indications
just
that,
seems America's
compared
too
with Europe,
disunited.
the amount of staffing, the associated health and retirement
Everything's
benefits,
too on its
alongside
own.
transportation, all add up to more costs for the American education system.
Mm-hmm.
But the differences don't end there.
In the 1990s, as the crime rate was
Comrade, we have found
as
Mr.
American
Peanut.
life was getting safer and safer,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Americans freaked out and thought that if they take their eyes off their
The
children,
big
their
thing,
children
comrades.
would be
Big
abducted.
chin. Let's start
Kids in
focusing
the
again.
US are raised differently than kids in Europe.
That's true.
Some blame the planning that produced more isolated American families, some the over-paranoia towards kidnapping in the 1980s, and others point to an increasingly competitive environment where parents try to give their children an edge over the others by helicoptering them.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
really not
the thing is, it's quite similar in the UK at least, comrades, where, you know, there's also a lot of competition in school. And I mean, in the UK, people do not like school at all, comrades, and I think it's very similar to America, comrades. Obviously, it's nowhere near as fucked as in Asia, comrades. I've heard horror stories from Japan, South Korea, India, and all those other schmedia, comrades, you know.
That far stretch to say that many European children could be considered to have more freedom at an earlier age. American children are
That
less
is true.
likely to be able
In Poland, you go to school when you're 5 years old, while stuff like the UK, you go when you're
off to
3.
school alone compared with European children, which you can of course connect to overall crime rates.
Corporal
and authoritative
punishment!
school policy is still much more
Comrades, these bitches still getting fucking hit with the cane. To be honest, half of them deserve it, comrades. I kind of wish there was corporal punishment in school, because like, I'd say I was quite well behaved in school, you know. I never really talked ever, unless it was to my friends. So, you know, I wouldn't have gotten it. But it would have been nice to see some of the dickheads get it.
accepted across the US than it is in Europe.
So, the real key to
European countries are mainly nations, not federations. A European state, if it existed, could never be the same as the US. Written in their constitution, US states are modeled after the federal government, and state governments,
Yeah, that is
which
true.
may
Like I
run
said,
by,
America's too
usually have
disunited
their
as a
own chamber of
country to,
representatives, a
you
senate,
know, focus
and also
too
have an
much.
executive mirrored after their president. In Europe, if there was any state that was above the countries that made it up, it would have to be modeled from those very different countries beneath it, rather than serving as a model for the countries below it. This is an important difference because it means that any kind of European government would have to balance parliamentary systems with presidential republics, federal states with unitary ones, and they'll be expected to create a system.
Yeah, that's why a European Union state is a bit weird to think about. So anyway, comrades, hope you enjoyed this reaction. I know I paused midway, but yes, it brings very interesting points with like how America and Europe, you know, they are quite similar, you know, in a worldwide scale, but obviously when you look at it, you know, zoom into that shit, comrades, they are quite different. So, you know what, make of it what you will. I mean, I still think America is shitter than Europe, but that is my point. Anyway, comrades, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to let communism strike again.